Fantastic. Thank you for coming and being here today. Wow, this is quite a treat to be out here in front of you. And I'm probably going to say the same thing that you've heard all day and through the whole conference. Maybe others have thought it, but you look great. It's great to be in front of you, see your faces, and just to be out here in person. I got to say, this has been fun today. I've been in the booth doing demos almost all day, and it's been fun just to kind of reconnect with a lot of people and just share with them kind of what it is that we're doing at Lenovo. Well, with the onset of the pandemic, there were a lot of things that were put on hold, right? A lot of things in our daily lives got put on hold, but it was also kind of a wake-up call, especially when it comes to technologies and especially with with a wake-up call to push. I'm just going to wait for my notes here to come up if he's got them. But one of the things that it really kind of pushed forward is this. Oh, is that the? I guess I should have the remote here. Big green button. There it is. Thank you. That makes sense. I just thought this was all automatic. I'm waiting for everything to happen. But the push for some of these technologies really to deliver on the promise of greater productivity, better efficiency, greater flexibility amid the need to be socially distant. And so we saw an almost immediate turn at Lenovo toward augmented reality and virtual reality as solutions to work with, educate, train, and certify workers remotely. And one of the things that we're excited to do today is share with you a few of the use cases that we've seen both internally and externally with some of our customers around remote collaboration and immersive learning. So I'll just jump into it. I've got a few case studies that I wanted to share with you. So back in 2020, the sales of Lenovo's smartphones and laptops were increasing, and they made a strategic decision to move a manufacturing line from China to our manufacturing hub in Monterrey, Mexico. Now, typically, this process involves dismantling the manufacturing line in its location, shipping it with a team of engineers who travel with the equipment, and then having them stay on site for a number of weeks, overseeing the reshaping, the restarting of the manufacturing line. Well, obviously, in 2020, as we were making plans to move this over to Mexico, travel restrictions were put into place, and our Chinese team, our engineers, were not able to travel to Mexico, let alone stay there for several weeks to oversee the upbringing of this new manufacturing line. And so this was a moment where the pandemic really kind of highlighted for us internally the need to start to employ these solutions, these AR solutions that we were already in the process of bringing to market. So using our augmented reality, our engineers in China were able to connect and work together with our engineers in Mexico. Obviously, they were using an augmented reality remote assistance certified solution from our ThinkReality platform that we integrated into the platform with one of our partners, HoloOne. HoloOne has a suite of applications that we've integrated into the platform that includes remote assistance and guided workflows. The ThinkReality A6 was the device that they used. This was one of our first devices that we brought to market, and it allowed the engineers to have hands-free video calling while they were working on the manufacturing line, talking to their colleagues in China, and the colleagues in China were able to give information to these our engineers in Mexico in context by working on those lines. And by bringing these two together virtually, the joint team completed the project as scheduled, even amid the disruption with COVID-19. So let me move on to the next example. And this is the next example that I'd like to talk to you about, the work that we're doing with a company called AGC. They're an an industrial process engineering firm out of Canada. And maybe I can give you a little bit of context before I jump into the reason that they called Lenovo to utilize our new ThinkReality A3 smart glasses. In June of 2021, so just earlier this summer, Jewish General Hospital of Montreal published a press release, or a case study actually, about they published a press release sharing with the world the news of a cardiac valve replacement that that was accomplished by using augmented reality and remote assistance and the use of a cardiac assistant, and the cardiac specialist who assisted on that operation was located in Toronto, 500 kilometers away. And the surgeon who performed the surgery was operating in the room with a HoloLens 2, and in conjunction with Medtronic, AGC was able to set up this remote specialist with an array of monitors that allowed him to be able to see exactly what was taking place in the operating room with all of the diagnostics and the vital information that he needed to see, as well as the video feed from the camera from the HoloLens, as if he was standing there in the operating room floor. And so this was such an incredible, I'd encourage you to go out and search the press release to read about it. It's a great read to talk about how augmented reality is helping to forward and push forward some of these remote proctoring engagements. The challenge after they had this success is AGC saw that maybe this setup with these remote proctors is not ideal. That they had these physical monitors set up, they were kind of desk bound. How could they make this better? And being a process engineering firm, they started to look at options that were available to them in the market. Because what if the remote proctor the remote specialist needed to travel? There's no way they could take all of those physical monitors with them at all. So in January of 2021, at CES earlier this year, Lenovo announced the ThinkReality A3 smart glasses. The A3 comes in two distinct editions, the PC edition and the industrial edition. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the PC edition. The PC edition is when the A3 glasses tether to a compatible laptop computer and give the user the ability to view up to 5 virtual displays. The PC and the glasses work together to utilize augmented reality, or the sensors in the glasses, to position those virtual displays in a manner that allows the user to see them up to 5 virtual displays. They can stack them up one on top of another. They can put them in an array around them. They can position them wherever they might be. But the displays are virtual, and they're easily to be configured through what we call a Virtual Display Manager application, which works with the Windows display settings to let you easily configure and manage those displays without having to go into the displays for each individual display. What's more is the PC recognizes these displays as actual physical displays. What's interesting is, and if you come by our booth and see this demo, we can show you when you put the glasses on and you have 4 virtual displays up on, in the glasses, you can go to the Windows display settings and see that it shows you it has 4 actual displays. And this is important because when you're working on a monitor, you expect it to operate and function just as if a regular monitor would function. And that's the same like when you drag and drop windows from one to the next, or you're just operating it just from a regular productive standpoint. You want it to be able to be the experience that you expect it to be. Well, with this type of setup, the remote expert or the remote proctor no longer needed to have this array of physical monitors sitting on his or her desk that bound them to his or her office. The glasses allowed for this multi-monitor setup to be wherever that user set up to work for the day, which is really kind of interesting, right? When we first started out to build this particular use case, we had in mind the business traveler, someone who was going to be on the road many times throughout the year. But as the pandemic settled in, that use case went away. The travel came to a screeching halt. But what did come up was there were more people that were working at home. They were working from their kitchen table, or they were working from their living room coffee table, and that didn't have enough space for them to have multiple monitors there to be as productive as they could be as if they were in their office with multiple displays. Well, that's what these glasses allow us to do. They allow us to have this multiple monitor setup wherever you go. And this is such a great example. When AGC caught hold of that, we were able to ship them a pair of glasses and get them set up with this multi-monitor, these virtual displays, and they came back and they just loved it. They've used them in several successful remote proctoring procedures, and they continue to use that. So we're excited to see the success that they've had and to be a part of that. And this is such a great example to show how augmented reality is taking what we can do, a traditional way of doing things, and then making it better and more efficient. So let me switch over to another use case here. This was an internal use case, and this is going to highlight a little bit more of the VR solution that we have at Lenovo. Over the summer, I was contacted by our executive director of global events. He needed some help with a global leadership team conference coming up in the fall. And he went on to explain that normally with this leadership conference, they would have it in one location, and all of our global leaders would travel to that location and attend that event for the 3 days that it was going to be held. Well, with many travel restrictions still in place, even just over a few weeks ago, this was not going to be possible. They had to kind of decide, well, let's split this up into 3 different locations. And what he was looking for a solution that would allow our global leaders to come together and have an experience together despite being separated. And so we were kind of thinking through some ideas, and I suggested, I knew that earlier this year, the Lenovo had opened another manufacturing plant in Budapest, Hungary. And I had suggested, why don't we take and do a 360-degree video tour of that new manufacturing plant, put that in a headset that we could then ship out to our global leaders to these locations, and have them all put them on at the same time and have them have a great first look at this new manufacturing plant in Budapest, Hungary. Well, he thought that was a great idea, and he said, go make it happen. And so we started to look at what we needed in order to make that happen. And it really came down to 3 key things. Excuse me. Number 1, the ThinkReality Platform, which was going to help us to manage and provision these devices and the content. Number 2, it would require a specialized content provider who had the ability to create this content and then produce it in a video that they could then deliver to us and we could use for this event. And then finally, it would require a device that could give us the experience, or give them the experience that would be as if they were sitting on the factory floor taking this tour by themselves. So let me jump into each one of those key things just to give you a little bit of background and information about each of them. So what is ThinkReality? Well, ThinkReality came into existence about 4 years ago when we at Lenovo saw a need to help our customers figure out how to manage, deploy, and scale their AR and VR solutions. We spent time with our customers, listening to them, trying to hear what their pain points were, and how we could figure out how to make this technology easier for them to adopt. And what we came up with was a solution that included an enterprise-focused solution that included a scalable software platform. It included a suite of modern hardware and services offerings that would support them through their deployment and through management of these solutions. The ThinkReality Platform is a cloud-based platform excuse me, that has some unique characteristics. We built it to be cloud agnostic, which means it can work in most environments, so whether they're public, on-prem, or private. We also built it to be device agnostic, so that customers who are already using other third-party devices could port their devices over onto our platform and be able to use them through a single interface. And so we're excited about getting this out into the market. And it was definitely going to help us with this particular project. And some of the key things and features that are specific to the ThinkReality Platform is that you can provision a very large number of devices with content and applications with the literal push of a button. You can manage and deploy device updates through a single interface. You can access and push these out over Wi-Fi. And the enterprise-grade security features that we have built into the DNA of our platform make it secure and give our customers ease of mind. Let me move on to our content partner. We chose to work with Uptel. Many of you may know Uptel. They're a content provider based out of France. They have a cloud platform that allows organizations to take their 360 or 180-degree VR video footage and turn that into training modules. They have a variety of tools that make that happen. They have authoring tools, distribution solutions to deliver those. They have authentication system for security. And they have data tracking dashboards that allow you to track how effective your training can be. Uptel was a perfect partner because we'd used them in the past, and we're looking, and we have a lot of customers who are asking about using their training tools to help them to develop their own corporate training. specifically with the ThinkReality, with the Mirage VRS3. And this was the perfect device for this particular event. The VRS3 is an all-in-one device that is lightweight, and it eliminated any complicated control setup or sensor setup because of its all-in-one capacity. It has a brilliant 4K display, which allowed for that real-life experience that we were looking for. Its weight is very balanced between the viewer in the front and the battery in the back, so that viewers could wear it for longer periods of time. It comes with a 3DoF controller, which allowed for some immersive interaction with some of the data that we were hoping to get. And it can easily be worn over prescription glasses. And this device can also be completely cleaned. It's of, it's of a polymer all the way around that can be wiped clean, especially in circumstances for today. Well, the result of our effort was amazing. Uptel was able to send a film crew. Actually, it's kind of funny, when I had reached out to them, we were kind of a little bit under a tight deadline, and I had mentioned to them, and I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. I said, hey, do you think you can send a film crew to Budapest, Hungary to help us film, do a video tour of this factory? And they said, well, we already have a film crew in Budapest right now. And so actually a little luck kind of played into our favor there. And they were able to send the crew over to film the tour and to produce it for us. And there were, it was actually quite amazing because they delivered it right on time for us, and we were able to get that into, deliver it to the ThinkReality platform. And what we did is we took that and put it on the platform and then got it deployed out to the 130 headsets that we had positioned or were made ready for our global leadership team. So once it, as soon as the devices, and this made it so that when we had the content, when the devices were turned on, as soon as they turned on and connected to Wi-Fi, the data was downloaded and it was viewable through the device. And then we prepared the headsets, we shipped them out to all of the attendees, and we were able to, on time, deliver this first look virtual tour event to all of our global leadership team, which they were able to take. I don't know if they all put them on together, but at least they had access to the same tour, the same experience in a 360-degree immersive content. And this content was amazing. There was little quizzes that they had as they went through the tour. There was also informational points that they could click on to understand a little bit more about how the factory was built, the new technologies that went into its construction. It was really quite an amazing event. So one of the things so these are just a few examples of what we were doing, what we've been seeing throughout our commercial customer segments at Lenovo. We're really excited about remote collaboration and immersive learning. We see it poised to grow a lot this year and in the years to come. And we expect that we'll continue to see more and more of these pop up. And I wish we had more time to tell you more about some of the other content providers and customers that we're working with the programs that they are building within their organizations and deploying them. But I wanted to just give a little bit of time for maybe some question and answer, so I'll go ahead and close this today. But if since you're here in person, please come by our booth tomorrow. We'll be there to learn more about our solutions and to see our demos. Thank you.
All right. Great. Questions? All right.
Hello, I'm John Yanni with AR Post. I've gotten into trouble with this question over the past, but I ask it with the greatest sincerity and respect. How much difference is there between a Pico G2 and the Lenovo Mirage?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. We did do the Mirage VR3 in collaboration with Pico. One of the things that we have at Lenovo is we have a safety security review board. And what that does is it has to pass a certain list of safety certifications in order to go out as a branded product from Lenovo. And so we needed to build into that product some safety and security features that were going to make it a secure device that customers could deploy within their organizations and not make it a point of vulnerability for any kinds of computer invasion or hacks.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Perfect. All right, more questions? Going once. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a little